Learn to say no. Say yes to the things that matter. Every time you say yes to things that don't matter, you're saying no to things that do matter.
And I also think that the long form interviews are particularly good at that, because it's not that easy to maintain a manipulative stance, especially if you're empty for like 2.5 hours.
Yes.
You get tired, you get irritable, you show that you lose the track, you're going to start leaking out your mistakes.
That, and even if you don't believe it's the greatest country on earth, and even if you see it for all its faults that it has, you appreciate the fact that in this country you have freedom. And so you can kind of fight for that no matter what you're thinking about. You're fighting for freedom. You're fighting to protect your family.
Guess what Elon Musk did? He deconstructed that and he said, what about this? What about if I build my own rockets? And instead of being 10x, it's X. That's why it works. That's first principle thinking.
After he saw me box too, he said, holy moly. He said, besides distraction, that's the next heavyweight champ of the world right here. I had never had nobody put that much interest in me, care that much about me.
You're never going to have an environment in today's day and age where you sit for 3 hours with no phones and just look at each other and have a conversation. And that's what we do on a daily basis. And I think that's an incredible opportunity to grow and learn, and also to address your own thoughts.
The real me is the guy looking at you right now saying, I don't want to be on this show right now because I used to stutter as a kid. And I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid that here in a second, I'm going to start stammering and stuttering, and the whole world's going to know that I have all these issues. But that's when I see right now, okay, Goggins, you got to go on this show.
And so when you first start listening to that voice, which is what makes you immovable, in the beginning it may be a bit shaky. The voice might even be a bit shaky, but it will gain strength as you listen to it and as you follow it.
But I think that what is not talked about enough is basically the cost of switching desires. Like you're switching wants, and the amount of time and effort that gets wasted in the loops of making the decision and then yearning for the cost of that decision that you already said was worth it.
It's like, well, what makes you so sure you couldn't have that? Well, how about, here's an answer. You don't have enough faith in yourself. And maybe you don't have enough faith in, well, I would say the divine. You don't believe that the world is characterized by enough potentiality so that even miserable you has a crack at the brass ring.
And, one day we were over on deployment over in Guam, and he said, hey, who here wants to learn how to fight? And I'm like, yeah, I want to learn how to fight. And he just took us all and just choked us all out, like, okay, you attack me, and just choked us all out. I'm like, okay, I'll listen to whatever this guy's saying.
For kids and adults, by the way, because a lot of times adults avoid things because they try it one time, they go, I don't like this, I'm not good at this. No one's good when they start. Like, very few people are good at something.
But listen, this is what people don't understand. Yeah, you have a machine that'll be, but when you're running outside, the high of running outside is almost worth messing your joints up.
One of the, I guess, difficult realizations of people who want to change their life is that if you do it well, you might have to go through a period where you let go of all of your friends. But the really bad realization is if you do it really well, you might have to do that multiple times throughout your life.
You have to live in your own world. You cannot judge yourself. That's why social media and all these things are horrible. You can't judge yourself off of the so-called competition that we have made up in our mind. The things that, how people look, how people act, how smart someone is. This is a race that you run completely alone.
We need to choose what we can do and do it, and not just sit and wait so that we feel better today, so that will spur us to feel better tomorrow. And by plugging in all the exercise and the things we talk about, you may live longer, but I want you to live better today.
Well, if the decision's reversible, then it doesn't really matter so much. But you should treat reversible decisions still as if they're irreversible. And this is David Epstein's new work, which is people are much happier with irreversible decisions than with reversible ones.
When I got her, I realized it was a gift, and I had to throw away all my stupidity. to keep it. Trust me, it was a lot of it. It was a lot, and I'm still dealing with a lot. She's just such a beautiful reflection of Jesus that it reminds me so much to behave like.
And our tactical advantage over the enemy was good enough that we just annihilated them. You know, it was like an unfair fight, which is how you want it to be. You want to have an unfair fight in combat.
It's another form of life we haven't experienced yet.
Right.
Even if it's the black life where it's just all darkness, it's a part of life that we have to embrace in some kind of form or fashion.
And I keep on asking myself this question for everything, what are the beliefs that you currently hold that have no grounding? What are the beliefs that you currently hold that can't be justified by any logical explanation? And doesn't necessarily mean they're wrong, but you really need to pay attention to those.
I had this line this year, which was, what you are praised for in public, you will pay for in private. A lot of the time, the things that make you a fantastic operator when it comes to business and your career often can be totally unadaptive, maladaptive when it comes to the kitchen table.
In the dark room, you face yourself, you realize you want to be better, you realize you don't want to be this weak, insecure person in the world who has all these problems that we all have. We all have. Social media is a great platform to tell you who we want to be, not who we are. So that's where that dark room is.
I think it's just what you're willing to give up in order to maintain something. And so if I have a relationship and I have somebody that I love a lot, then I'm willing to give up everything, including my life, in order to maintain that relationship. And so, or for that person, or for that idea, for freedom, for the country. If you love something a lot, you're willing to give up everything for it.
So if my lid is a 5, that makes it you have 5 potential. You don't have 6 potential. But if I can grow to a 6, when I lift the lid for me, I lift the lid for you. And when I lift the lid for you, I lift the lid for everybody.
The only reason you're envious is because you see someone who has something that you want. Okay, so let's think about it. Well, first of all, the fact that they have it means that in principle, you could get it. At least someone has. So that's a pretty good deal.
It's always frustrating when you see a guy who is so naturally gifted, who kind of like lays back. But it seems to be, that's a lot of what happens, is the people that are naturally gifted don't have to work as hard, so they don't work as hard.
And it's not about money, because the money's going to be in charity and people want to, and it's just about doing something good. And that, from that perspective, that could be, I used to like feeling like I'm doing something good for somebody more than myself.
But what I would say to you is that the solution outside of this is coming up with an identity where you don't have to live with the fear of going there, because it's like saying, I'm going to go back to where I was at 17. I mean, there's just no freaking way. There's no way I'll go back to where I was when I was 29 even.
It's the same reason that Adele is a bad example, because it gives them hope. For as long as there is no hope that anybody could do the thing, lose the weight, that means that you have an excuse. What? Adele hasn't done it. I don't need to do it.
Right. And then you put a goal in your mind. How are you gonna feel, man, when you accomplish this goal coming from that shit? Coming from the hell you came from. A lot of people start from a good starting point. They have a good foundation. What if you can surpass all of these numbers?
Like, we tell stories of what type of person we are all day long when we're confronted with different decisions. What type of person am I? And I would like to be known to myself as a fighter, is that I'm willing to fight for what I want and for what I believe in.
But forgiving is not forgetting. We don't want to forget what this person's capable of doing. We can forgive it, but if we also forget it, then we're being pathologically kind of going right back into the storm, expecting that we're going to have the sun come out.
But I could say that in a dire situation, there's always an element of choice, and if you make the right choices, you improve the degree, you improve your chances of success to the maximal possible degree.
But a lot of it is on you as an individual or your smaller element, group of guys, and that's how you gotta stay in shape. You do not want to be the guy that can't carry his weight. That's just you'll get kicked out.
So that's just how we think, the competitive. We don't want nobody to think what we are. We wanted them to have a little bit of figuring out process of what we are.
And then the second reason is everything that I regret at the company, or whenever I regret something, it's not making a decision fast enough. It's not I made the wrong decision. What I've always regretted is sitting at the bottom of the stairs for too long, instead of jump up a stair and then I'll figure it out, and then jump up a stair and I'll figure it out, and then jump up a stair, I figured it out.
Look, I'm a flawed, terrible creature that is constantly still trying to get things right. And I am open to, in fact, I'm seeking being wrong as much as possible. The more that I can be wrong, the more that I'm going to identify all of the different pitfalls that are going to go across.
Yeah.
That's what you need to be looking for. And if you...
We don't want that person who's constantly challenging our weaknesses. We want that person who's constantly, making us feel nice and good and secure in ours. That's the mediocrity of life. We want to be the best amongst the average people.
And so what's interesting is I've tried to observe what those guys do differently, and almost to a man, they'll say, I should have spent more time with the kid. And it's one thing to say that you should have. It's something very different to see them do it the second time around.
What it indicates instead is that if you're fortunate, because let's not forget that, and you optimize your attitude even in the face of adversity, that it's not infrequently the case that your fortunes will reverse. I think we as human beings need to be loyal to certain principles and certain ideals. And you need to be loyal to humanity as much as you realistically can.
I understand there's misconceptions that people have of me because they assume it's kind of like the halo effect. We assume because someone's done something well, they do all things well. But there are so many things that I think would really liberate people and make them inspired if they could see how deficient I was in so many things in my life.
I remember the first thing I felt is so insignificant. Like you're just a part of everything. You're part of the whole universe. And instead of looking at yourself as a center of the universe, when I did it, it just made me realize, like, no, you're part of this infinite thing. And you're such a small part. Everyone is such a small part. So the universe itself is what's big, and you're just a piece of it.
And this is the same thing like a lot of fraudsters do. They'll use enormous language and very verbose, phrases. And it's like they're just trying to get you to think that they're smarter than they are.
Yeah, I think people use sort of complex language and fluency as a proxy for truthfulness and insight.
You suddenly get it from their point of view. You feel the agony that your words caused that person. And you find yourself, did I do that? Did I say that? You suddenly see what you are. You can't go back into your own past and change negative and useless and pointless things that you did. You can't do that. But you can avoid repeating them in the future.
It's raw. It gets ugly sometimes with me in that mirror, but I'm also proud of myself to be able to tell myself that and then fix what's in that mirror.
That's what hits me, and that's what I really want people to hear, is that you can say those things, A, because they're true, and B, because you can fix them.
Right.
When I've met the threshold that is satisfactory or should be satisfactory in order for me to make this decision, I make it, is not the same as I make a decision before I have sufficient information in order to be able to make it.
It's an information question, not a time question.
Yeah.
And I also think that the long form interviews are particularly good at that, because it's not that easy to maintain a manipulative stance, especially if you're empty for like 2.5 hours.
It's every time you work out, you're voting for the athlete in you, for the healthy person in you. Every time you move, every time you eat well, every time you don't eat poorly, you are making a vote for the person in you who says, health is my identity.
What are your non-negotiables in your life in terms of habits, routines, disciplines?
I wake up early and I work out every day. That's kind of those are the minimum requirements in my life.
Oh, I would never been a champ if I wasn't from Cuz, because he put stuff in my mind. I start thinking about myself being these people, visualizing myself being, great or somebody. I've never done that in my life. I've never heard, not even in the ghetto, somebody say this.
Because so few people are able to have deep conversations that are uninterrupted by their phones, by other people, by responsibilities, and yet for me, it feels like therapy. It feels like a mental workout.
For every founder, there comes a point in building a company where your job shifts. From being the person inside your business, actioning everything, to the person responsible for absolutely everything. The only way I've been able to make this shift across the different companies and teams I'm responsible for is by knowing that the right systems are in place to manage everything. Systems that don't need me in order for them to work.
A visualization of almost me cracking out Goggins, like almost like that Superman cape, like I'm coming out a different person, a person that doesn't give a fuck about anything, who doesn't care about being judged, who knows I'm weak, who knows I'm afraid, who says, whatever you think about me, take it, whatever, I'm here.
But I think where people actually stay stuck the longest in their careers from an entrepreneurship perspective or just from a personal development perspective is the trades that we are unwilling to make. It's basically the desire to have everything at the same time.
And what that means is, don't let it go to your head. Don't think that you're better than somebody just because you have a title or because you have more money than they do. And I think that I have to constantly remind myself that I get to be a vice president for 4 years. I'm going to do as good of a job as I can for that 4 years, but it doesn't make me better than anybody.
But people will say to me, but you know what? I have a very high pain tolerance because there seems to be some badge of honor that is handed out on the, they say, I have a very high pain tolerance and I thought I could do this. I didn't want to come. But the reality is people wait and suffer when we could have intervened really early.
Even if it was just a small thing or a small detail, you still have something more to do. You still have something more that you can improve or become better. And that's something that has stuck with me, not just in football, but in life.
Your body's not completely defenseless against them. In fact, it already has a built-in detoxification and elimination system that's designed to remove harmful compounds. The problem is that most people are overwhelming these systems daily, and almost nobody is talking about how to properly support them.
But I think what's spoken about less is that internal experience of overthinking, ruminating, feeling like I don't know who I am because I'm morphing myself to be liked and I'm changing myself in every room that I go into.
And when you do that over the course of time, you end up being the person standing on the mountain when everybody else went back down. That's how it works. And there's no magic to it, dude. It's not.
You don't casually leave a business. You don't casually move somewhere. You have to make a decision. You make a plan, and then you take the actions. And that's what helps you achieve the things that you want.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, I mean, everything in life, the greatest thing that came in this world came through a sacrifice, right? I mean, I believe in Jesus, so that to me shows that if you want anything in life, it has to require sacrifice in some way.
Like, we give up stuff all the time. The whole idea of technology is on purpose. We give up things that we used to be able to do to machines, so we don't have to do them anymore. And every time we face the same choice about what's valuable and what's not. And what I worry about, like, the default version of that is bad, right? I mean,
And I think this makes sense, right? If you view everything as an adaptation, you can't just rip out that adaptation from somebody's life. It's more effective in many cases to replace the adaptation with another adaptation that can provide a similar role for their life. It'll make the chances of successful change much higher.
Okay. Well, and we can do this in a modern era without a religious context. You could say, what we could all agree, a code to live life by. But we'd all have to follow it, including the president. No more.
You take a look at somebody who spent 5 years studying about medicine, but he's never done a surgery,
right?
But he knows everything about it. Or you have somebody who's done 10,000 surgeries, but which one do you want to work with you?
Right.
There's everything that's there's comfort waiting for you. There's negotiations waiting. There's negotiations. There's lazy. There's all there's victim. There's all that stuff. They're literally waiting at the bedside for you. And I get up every morning, acknowledge them. Hello, hello, hello. Just keep going.
I think it's hard to make a change in your life.
Very hard. Very, very hard to make a change in how you see life.
Yeah.
And then you're not going to change your life unless you change the way you see life.
Yeah.
What did they do to get to $500,000 is transferable to every industry. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't worry about them.
Yes.
They find ways. They're resourceful. They'll find a way to win.
You have the ability to do things that you don't know how. You don't know how to do them. So what do you do if you don't know how to do them? You figure it out. All of us are born the same way, dumb, naked, and speechless. You can learn.
Everybody knows the harder choice versus the easier choice. Everybody, to include myself, will look externally and say, what do I need to do? I know what I need to do, and so do they. They need to do the thing that, even if it's microscopic, that they want to do less, more often than they do the thing that they want to do more. That, over time, is the juice.
Every great line, every beautiful image, every moment of connection and tenderness and electricity cut together to make you want to see the movie. The trailer for a mediocre film can make it look like the most important cinematic experience of your lifetime. If you've just gone through a breakup, this is what your brain is doing. It has cut a 3-minute trailer for a 2-year relationship, and you have watched that trailer so many times that you've started to believe the trailer is the relationship.
It's like the cursing is what I think, like, it's just, that's what people hear, that either they check out or they're like, he's dirty or he's this or he's that. And so if you're in control of it, just be in control of it. It's not saying you don't have to curse, but it's where is it and when is it?
Yeah.
Everybody's not great at being a personal brand. You know, everybody's not great or meant to be up front, leading the charge. So sometimes it's best for certain people to fall back. But in my situation, me being the voice of the brand is always a great thing. Right now I have over 30 plus partnerships. I'm celebrating 20 years in the game, and I'm still excited about the music.
Everybody that I've ever met who's really good has imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I think it's a part of being genuinely creative, because I think like genuinely creative people don't have that kind of weird ego where like, yeah, finally I'm getting mine. Because some people do have that, where they feel like they deserve this.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like at least most genuinely creative people that I've talked to, when something big happens to them, they're like, this is fucking crazy. Like,
so what is the story you're telling yourself about who you are, what you're capable of, what you can and you can't do? And what is the relationship between your actions and your behavior with that monologue? And so every day, because I have a very robust negative inner monologue, I'm very focused on the actions that I'm taking that defy it. And the more that I take those actions, the more mute my inner monologue becomes.
Yeah, I would say that you are reality. You in silence, not any story you tell. Any story you tell about yourself is not you. You are much, much deeper. So whatever you are is that which can entertain any story, every story, enjoy it, and then not identify with it and let it go.
It felt impossible to get back into any sort of routine. But then at some point, I think I felt like I don't have any other choice. Like I have to be the best version of myself that I can manage right now for Trig, for my younger son, Teddy, for myself, for Brady. Like I have to, it's not a choice.
And there's these people that have waited their whole lives, worked their whole lives for this time, this moment in their life, where finally they're going to enjoy their life. And they arrive there physically incapable of doing so. Essentially, the stress in their life, all the work, all the years mounted, they finally get on that proverbial beach of life, and they can't even enjoy it physically. They can barely walk. They can't ride a Sea-Doo. They can't get in the water and swim. And I thought, my gosh, is that what we're doing in the world today?
To find luck, the best luck, if you have the balls to make failure your friend, those lessons in failure is what separates Elon Musk from the rest of us. Fail, learn, fail, learn, fail, learn. Fail, trillionaire.
Because you can master the mind one day and then you wake up and you're like, and sis, you got to get back to work. It's like this never ending. And I will honestly tell you, here in my 40s, I'm like, is there ever going to be a day where I just wake up and it's like, you know what? You can just skip this day. For me, I can't.
Oh,
I'm getting shot at. I cannot panic. Oh, I'm jumping out of an airplane. I cannot panic. Oh, I'm confused about what's happening right now. I cannot panic. That becomes the nature of it.
Now, here's the question, leaders, so that this doesn't become a therapy session, but a helpful session. What are you doing that is limiting the people around you because you have put an expectation on yourself that you need to be the best person in the room?
Right.
That's the question. I was just...
Two things. First of all, be grateful for what you have. Because as bad as you got it right now, and let's face it, it gets pretty rough out here. But if you look at your situation, you compare it with other people in the world without basic food, without basic shelter, without health needs, not to mention being under the threat of real violence, like random bombs from the sky, or drones, or mortars, or artillery, just randomly hitting you. That's a pretty rough way to live.
Everybody thought I was very smart because I went to Yale Law School, and I cared about that back then. I don't care about it now. And I sort of realized I'm actually not like a happy person. I'm not a good person.
And I knew deep down, I was like, there's something else going on. And that something else is all the behind the scenes thing that allow people to show up with disease, whether that's with nutrition, exercise, stress, emotional issues that are going on, actually feed into how we present in chronic disease as well. And so I think that was the pivotal moment that I said to myself, I have to do something different.
And I think that says, for me, is a non-negotiable thing. Like if any player comes to this club and he doesn't respect the physios, the stewards, the people that are in all the desks we have here, the people that work for us in the restaurant, the chefs, and all these people that are around us, taking care of us, even if you don't see it, or if you don't think it, or whatever it is. For me, it's a non-negotiable thing that the respect has to be always there.
And in the end, the goal here is not perfection. It's lowering the total burden over time while reducing the biological damage that these microplastics can cause while they're present in our bodies. No single intervention reverses years of accumulation.
So the cost of people pleasing with everyone all the time is that, well, a lot of things, we feel like we don't know who we are. We feel resentful in our relationships. We feel like we're giving everything to everyone and no one's giving back to us.
A great entrepreneur, someone who consistently wins over and over and over again, they do the opposite. They see these opportunities of hardship as times to get ahead, understanding that everybody else is quitting when these times come. So they actually get excited when these things start to punch them, when these bad things start to happen. They say, yeah, fuck that, bring that shit on, bro, you ain't breaking me. And that's the mentality difference.
Allowing those negative thoughts, the worries about work, the apology you need to make, the stress in your life, the things that you're terrified of, scanning your day for all the things that you didn't do, beating yourself up, rewriting that text in your mind, thinking about the breakup, thinking about all the worst case scenarios. This is something you've gotten used to. This has now become part of your bedtime routine.
When I wake up, how I woke up was intentional. Not on the phone. Not on the phone. And I'm reading things. I'm letting, that inner wisdom just kind of flow me through the day. You know what I mean? I'm on track. When it's like that, it's hard to surprise me because I've been paying attention to it.
Like, if Claude is really good at running your company, Claude's also good at running every other company, and there's no variation between them. And generically high quality with no variation means there's no moats or competitive edge. I think humans who bring competitive edge to this one way or another, just by providing variation, if nothing else, is a useful way to think about problems, right? Like, your sense of taste matters, right?
Whereas what has actually worked for me is something as simple as putting my gym shoes by the front door so that it reminds me, hey, you're supposed to go run, asshole. That's why your shoes are there. For me to put my shoes on, it is easier to just walk out the door than it is to not walk out the door. That has probably done more for me than like all of the drastic major changes I've ever tried to make in my life.
I wish more people could find that in life.
Yeah, amen.
In some form.
Yeah.
Whether it's painting or making pottery or whatever the fuck is, man. Find that thing where you're like, God, I can't wait to get back to whatever it is, making cars. I can't wait to get back to, whatever the fuck it is I enjoy.
Or maybe even get to the place of going, I can't not do it.
Right.
But what if the current thought of how to make the body perform better is to pour more on, more power, more performance, more hormones? What if instead of pouring more on, we just reduce the friction?
Yeah.
And so what we're doing with fascial maneuvers is reducing the friction. And when we reduce the friction, all those muscles, tendons, nerves, bones, everything organizes and works better.
Am I going to live like everybody else? Am I going to do what everybody else does? Am I going to have what everybody else has? Or am I going to become the best that I can be? And that's your choice. And there is no other choice, by the way. You don't get to be in the middle. It's either you did or you didn't. And that's it.
Everyone's saying the game is over. Dilly stays with me, says, Dad, please don't say anything, because I don't think it's over. Good for Dilly boy. We sit till to the very end. And then going to fourth quarter, they got a 15-point lead. And then in the fourth quarter, they take the 15-point lead, and they end up winning by 1 point, the biggest comeback in the history of NBA finals, maybe even playoff history ever, but it's definitely the finals.
You have the ability to do things that you don't know how. You don't know how to do them. So what do you do if you don't know how to do them? You figure it out. All of us are born the same way, dumb, naked, and speechless. You can learn.
Like the bar is so low, everyone's so distracted. If you could just carve out like the tiniest amount of distraction, like a half an hour a week or a day, like you're doing something no one else in your friend group is doing. Imagine scaling that over time. Forecast a year later, 5 years later, 10 years later, as you develop this increased capacity for focused attention as opposed to mindless distraction. That puts you in a rare air, my friend, in terms of trying to achieve whatever ambitions and goals you hold for yourself.
And so we let ourselves completely identify with it, jobs, careers, everything, failures, successes, we go in with both feet. And at the end of life, you look back and you go, wow, that was quite a ride. And I'm glad I did it, and that's not me, I transcend that. And now it's time to take off the headset.
Every day is hard. Every day is quote unquote bad without him here. It's terrible. But I still have good moments in my day. And I would be lying if I said that I don't still have some joy and some happiness. Like my younger son brings me so much joy and so much happiness, but I'm also simultaneously sad and empty. And that's why I just say you really have to learn, and you quickly do learn, that everything coexists. And that's just the way it is.
The thing about overworking is that it's a vague definition. I mean, the research definition is over 55 to 60 hours a week. But when I say that to most people, they're like, I do 55 hours last Tuesday. Like, what are you talking about? So it's like, it seems like, that's nothing. I mean, I'm a founder. Of course I work like that. But it's not about how many hours you're putting in. It's about how much you are neglecting your life outside of work.
And so I started working out consistently because I could see why it helped me reach my goals, not her goals. And I think often when we're encouraging our partners to do something, we're like, well, if you meditated, you'd be calm like me. And they're like, well, you're not calm right now, so I don't even believe you.
Here's what I do know. All of us leaders that think we have to be good at everything to set records, you will not set records. You're not balanced. You can only be a balanced team when you completely take the lids off of the great linemen on your team and let them give you a little bit more time than the next guy.
Sure. If I say good morning to these ones, I say good morning to these ones. I don't change that. If I give a handshake to these ones, I give a handshake to this one. If I greet them as I'm greeting my teammates, they will feel part of it. They will feel involved. They will feel as important as them.
And growing up in a home where you were on high alert, you were on edge a lot of the time, I think that's a really common scenario where people pleasing comes through, because we learn, okay, what can I do? I can be good. I can be perfect. And that works sometimes. And for a child, that is very empowering, is to focus on, you know, the one thing that you can do.
And I've made every mistake in the world. So the reason that I go so hard is because I know what I'm not. And while people may look at the external reality and think, oh man, he's so smart, he's so gifted, every thing that you see was earned through a mistake or pain or frustration or getting my balls kicked in.
And the more defensive I feel, the more I take notes and slow her down. Because I think the one thing we've discovered is that the masters of relationships, the ones who are happy and stay together, really seem to have a motto that when your partner's upset about anything, the world stops and you listen.